Some betrayals don't come before warnings. They sneak up on you when you least anticipate them, like a shadow lurking just beyond your perception. I never imagined I'd find myself in this situation, sitting in my own living space, gripping the armrest of my chair so tightly that my fingers went numb, staring at a woman I barely recognized. Yet, at that moment, she knew more about my life than I did. And she wasn't here by coincidence. My wife, Emily, and I had been married for 7 years. We had what most people would call a stable relationship. Comfortable, predictable. We weren't the couple who flaunted our love online, but we weren't detached either. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our unspoken understandings. She worked in event coordination, which meant late hours, weekend calls, and last-minute crises. I never questioned it. Why would I? Trust was the cornerstone of everything, right? One of her closest companions, Rachel, was someone I rarely engaged with. I saw her at gatherings, exchanged polite greetings. But that was it. Emily and Rachel had a bond built on years of shared history, and I never delved too deeply into it. Until that night, Emily was away for the weekend at a supposed business retreat. I had the house to myself. It was nearly midnight when I heard the knock, firm, insistent. I frowned. Who would come unannounced at this hour? When I opened the door, Rachel stood there, her dark eyes analyzing my face, her expression indecipherable. "Hey," she said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. She walked straight to the couch, sat down, and exhaled sharply. Something felt off. I closed the door and hesitated. "Rachel, what's going on?" She looked up at me, and for the first time, I noticed a strain in her face. "I need to tell you something," she said. "And once I do, you'll never perceive Emily the same way again." A cold wave rushed over me. My pulse sped up. "What the hell are you talking about?" Rachel leaned forward, resting her elbows on her knees. "She's deceiving you, Nathan." Her voice was low, steady, almost rehearsed. "She's not on a business trip." I let out a short chuckle, though nothing about this felt amusing. "Rachel, what the—" "She's with someone else." The room felt smaller. My breath hitched in my chest. "No," I said immediately, shaking my head. "That's not true." Rachel didn't flinch. I wish it wasn't. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline, waiting for her to smirk and say this was some twisted joke. But she didn't. Instead, she pulled out her phone, tapped the screen a few times, and held out to me. And that's when my world shattered. The photos weren't blurry. They weren't ambiguous. Emily, smiling, laughing, wrapped in the arms of a man. I didn't recognize the different places, the different dates, hotel rooms, a restaurant out of town, even one in our own city. My stomach twisted into a knot. So tight, I thought I'd be sick. This isn't real," I muttered, though my voice shook. Rachel sighed. "I wanted to tell you sooner. I swear I did. But I thought maybe she'd stop. Maybe she'd come clean on her own." My hands trembled as I scrolled through the images. "How long?" I asked, my voice hollow. Rachel hesitated. "Almost a year." "A year?" I couldn't breathe. Everything blurred, the walls, the ceiling, my own reflection in the dark window. A year of deception, of fake goodnight kisses, of empty I love yous that meant nothing. Fury ignited in my veins, swift and ruthless. "Why are you telling me this now?" I demanded. "Why wait until tonight?" Rachel's lips parted, but she paused, and that hesitation made my stomach drop. She wasn't here just out of concern. She had another reason. And then, in the softest voice, she whispered, "Because she's leaving you, Nathan." My chest collapsed. "What?" Rachel's eyes shimmered. "Tonight. She planned to tell you when she got back. She's moving in with him." The room spun. I gripped the edge of the couch to steady myself. All this time, I thought I had a marriage, a life, a future. But I had nothing. She had already left. She just hadn't told me yet. Rachel stayed for a while, but I barely heard anything else she said. My ears rang. My body felt disconnected, like I wasn't really in my own skin anymore. Eventually, she left, and I sat there, staring at the phone screen, the undeniable proof of my wife's betrayal burning into my eyes. I thought about calling Emily, screaming, demanding answers. But what was the point? She had already made her choice, and now I had to make mine. By the time morning arrived, I had packed a bag, not for her, but for me. I wouldn't be here when she got back. She expected to blindside me, to sit me down and shatter my heart like she still had the power to do so. But I wouldn't give her that satisfaction. By the time she returned to this house, she wouldn't find a husband waiting. She'd find a half-empty closet, a silent living room, and the ghost of a man who once loved her. I walked out the door without looking back, because life didn't stop there, and neither did I.